Welcome back to the Bitcoin Magazine Halving Livestream pre-show. I am Pete Rizzo, editor-at-large at Kraken, editor at Bitcoin Magazine, and Bitcoin historian on X. And of course, tonight we are making history. The fourth Bitcoin halving will happen. And we've got special guest lineup here to ring in this new Bitcoin year. First up, you know him as El Presidente, CEO of Barstool Sports. Dave Portnoy, welcome to the show. Happy halving.
Thanks for having me. No pun intended.
So, Dave, want to start with clarifying for the folks a bit about your time in Bitcoin. I want to read some recent quotes. You've had some choice words for Bitcoin. Quote, I really fucked myself on Bitcoin. Quote, I keep getting face fucked by Bitcoin. Quote, I fucked up with Bitcoin. So could you clarify for the folks at home a bit about this fucking that's going on? Who's fucking who? What's going on?
Yeah, how much time we got? So when Bitcoin obviously has been around a long time, but when it really started getting prevalent, I didn't know what it was. I was trying to understand it. This was during COVID, and just coincidentally, the Winklevosses were at like a hotel that I was at. And I was ranting and raving that I didn't know what Bitcoin was. So the Winklevosses came over. And they taught me about Bitcoin in their own unique way. I bought, I think, like $1 million of Bitcoin at 10,000 or 11,000, somewhere around there. The Winklevosses came over. The long and short of it, they said Elon Musk was going to take a spaceship outer space, mine gold from outer space. It would rain plentiful upon Earth, and that's why Bitcoin was important. I said, these guys are nuts. And I'm getting out of Bitcoin. So I bought it. I sold it within, like, I don't know, a week. I didn't make anything. I didn't lose anything. The second I sold it, it went bananas. So it went to like, I don't know, 50, I want to say, around that point. And I was just motherfucking myself the entire time that was happening. Started learning more about Bitcoin. Rebought Bitcoin when it dropped below 40. So I want to say like 36-ish. And I'm like, I'm never selling it. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm never going to do anything with it. I spent another, I want to say $1 million worth of it, somewhere around there, maybe even more. Then the SPF stuff happened. And I was afraid that in where I was buying it, I didn't have the hard wallet. And I know, well, you don't know Bitcoin if you don't have the hard wallet. I get it. I get it. I've heard it a million times. I like doing things the easy way. So I had it on exchange. And when, FTX was folding, there's lots of rumors, lots of, hey, you better get your Bitcoin out of here because your exchange could be next to go down. So I tested mine. It was fine, but I took the money out to make sure it was liquid, and I forgot to put it back in. This happened when it was around 18,000. It was like a pretty low. And then I just didn't pay attention again. And then Bitcoin on this latest run, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm doing well again. Well, I wasn't, because the Bitcoin was sticking in my exchange as just cash. So I lost like half of it basically. So if I put in $1 million, I had a little under 500 grand in cash sitting there, and I didn't get any of the rise all the way back up because I fucked up and didn't, when I tested it, I thought I put it back into Bitcoin. I did not. So for months, I was just sitting there with a lump of cash in an exchange, not in Bitcoin. So every time Bitcoin rips, I don't have it. Every time it goes down, I have it. That's essentially my Bitcoin experience.
Well, thanks for filling us in. So it sounds like you bought it, sold it, currently holding?
I have 10
holding?
Bitcoins.
Okay. And
so once I realized that I was sitting there in cash, I put it back into the Bitcoin, but that maybe around 50. I don't know. I got it a lot higher than I originally, I have 10 Bitcoins. I have 10 Bitcoins.
Well, you've got the conviction. A lot of people out there may be wondering, Dave, you feel the passion for Bitcoin, you get a public company. What's stopping you from being the next Michael Saylor, someone who's, going all in, taking out some loans against the business, building up that stack? Your thoughts on a corporate strategy for Barstool?
I wouldn't be opposed to buying Bitcoin. I don't know, to the level that Saylor does it. I don't know what he has like. I know he's ridden
200,000 Bitcoin. Yeah, 200,000.
Good for him. Smart guy. I wouldn't buy it at this level. I'm waiting. I'm sitting here waiting for it to go down. I know what's that, 64,000. I don't think I can stomach getting back involved until it's
Mm.
like in the 40s again.
Mm.
And I know what everyone's gonna say. Oh, you get the price you deserve. And I listen. I know I've heard it all, but I am not going to buy it close to the all-time highs and watch it go down.
Mm.
I will not do that. I
Mm.
will not do that. I bought it at the right time the second time, theoretically. Like 36,000, that was a good re-entry point. I was happy with it. I wasn't going crazy when it was at
Mm.
18. I was actually wanting to buy more. So, but no, I'm not going to, I cannot stomach buying it at the prices it's at right now.
Famous last words. Cut to the gif of the skeleton in the chair, I guess. So maybe tell us a little bit about this conviction that you have for Bitcoin. You've said that you never doubted, right? So you found Bitcoin maybe a few years back. You never doubted. What's at the basis of this conviction that you have? If you were to explain the confidence that you have in Bitcoin for the people at home.
Yeah, well, I have confidence now. I didn't have it obviously the first time I bought it when the Winklevosses were telling me. I just think it's too big to fail. I think too many people are involved in it. I do not have the uh what's it, the utopian view that it's like good for
Mm.
society and all that.
Okay.
I'm not a believer in that. I think a lot of
Mm.
people are frauds who claim that's why they're in Bitcoin. I think people are in Bitcoin to make money. And
Mm.
that's fine. Like that's why I'm in Bitcoin. And it's great messaging, and you can say this and that, and maybe a few people do, but it's just like any other currency. It's a way to make money.
Mm.
And I do think it's gotten too big, too many people involved that it will not fail. So that's
Mm.
why I'm a believer in Bitcoin.
Mm. Talk to me about your thoughts on the ETF. Obviously, huge news this year. BlackRock, big Wall Street firms validating. Do you look at the ETF as something that you're maybe more interested in than holding Bitcoin, given the
No,
complications you've had?
no. That just goes to, I guess, my prior point that I think is too big to fail is become mainstream, which is great for Bitcoin. But yeah, I follow the ETFs and what they're doing and things like that. But I would much rather own the individual Bitcoins.
Mm.
I'll buy more Bitcoin at some point. I just, like I said, I feel like an absolute asshole buying it at this price, so I will not.
Mm. Well,
Yeah,
every
but cue everybody right there. You get the price you deserve. It'll go to 1 million. I know what they're gonna say. So don't say it.
every Bitcoin price was once a Bitcoin all-time high.
I
A
just
bit
said
of
don't
bit
say
of
it.
truth to
I just
that.
said don't say it.
Well, it's nice to remind the people at home. Why don't we talk about, obviously you're getting out there, you're talking about Bitcoin, you're speaking to the maybe you don't buy the utopian vision. Why do you think that message isn't getting across? What do you think when regular people talk to you about Bitcoin, what are you hearing in those conversations?
I mean, I think there's an element of obviously governments controlling money and stuff like that, but at the
Mm.
heart, people are selfish, greedy
Mm.
people. They want to make
Mm.
money. And all these Bitcoin, not all, I mean, all is but a majority of them, if you just picked a
Mm.
stock on Wall Street or anything where
Mm.
they thought they had a better chance of making money and it did not have this worldview
Mm.
ethos behind it, they'd still go invest in that. Like people just want to make money, which is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with
Mm.
that.
So you don't see any difference between Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies?
In terms of what? Like I bought SafeMoon, got scammed. Like I think a lot of the little ones,
Mm.
I you are you're probably going to lose your money. I think Bitcoin is the
Mm.
only one that is a safe investment.
Mm.
So, but that's how I look at it. It's not as I don't look as there's a difference between actual like goodness behind it, if
Mm.
that's the word.
Well, obviously, the decentralization, the fact that, tonight thousands of people are running nodes, miners around the world, this network's coming together. And in the case of SafeMoon and maybe some of these other things, small group of people at the bottom, does that difference not strike you as meaningful?
Well, there was a small group with Bitcoin at the beginning.
Sure.
So, I mean, no, that it means it's a safer place that you can invest your money and not be worried. But yeah, it's bigger now. But was it bigger when it started? No,
Mm.
I don't think so.
Mm. Certainly, there were things that Satoshi did with Bitcoin, obviously programming the 21 million supply, leaving Bitcoin. I guess your thoughts on Satoshi Nakamoto then. Is he someone that you're interested in? If you were to ask him interviews, talk to him, what
Do we
questions
know
would you
this guy
have?
exists yet? Is that like an update from the last time I do it? Is like, does anybody know who he is?
Well, he certainly existed at one point in time, right? He wrote and published the code. We don't know who Satoshi is today, but curious if your interview, you talked to a lot of people.
Like,
What questions would you have for him?
I mean, I have a lot. Like, it's the usual suspects, Kaiser Sose. Like, it's
Uh-huh.
obviously a mystery man that starts all this thing, but who the hell knows who this guy is?
Mm.
I've heard I've heard spook stories, ghost stories about him that, he was just planning to take it all back and weird. So I mean, yeah, he's a fascinating, it's all part of the mythology of Bitcoin. But we
Well,
don't know who he is.
let's just say Satoshi's still alive. He's out there somewhere. He's got $30 billion, one of the richest people in the world. Hasn't moved that money in 15 years. Hasn't shown any signs of ill motivation. Does that strike you as something
So
that's,
what's he living in, like a little shack? You mean like he has the money and he hasn't spent it? Is that what you're saying?
well, if he's alive, right? There's a
What
study
what
that
what
has
if
been
he's
done.
alive and living a life of lavish luxury beyond anybody's wildest dreams?
Well, we know he hasn't spent any of the original Bitcoin, right? So we know that.
I don't know that we know anything about this guy.
Hmm, okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, we know we can look on the blockchain. We can look at what he mined. We can make guesses at his supply. So you don't think there's any element of altruism there that someone would
There
kind of
could be.
amass that?
Again, if you find this guy and he's wearing flip-flops,
Uh,
eating ramen noodles every day
mm,
and is like walks everywhere he goes and hasn't spent a cent, is truly
mm,
living just for good of people.
mm,
That would be a really good feel good story. I'd love to
mm,
see that because you'd like to think there's people like that. That would make him one of like the Gandhi of
mm,
forever, basically.
mm. Well, obviously, no shortage of Bitcoin memes. You've said Bitcoin memers are your favorite. They're
They're the
the
best.
best in the world.
They
Maybe
are.
let's count down. What are some of your favorite Bitcoin memes?
I mean, I don't even know where to start. Anytime you talk about Bitcoin, they come out of the woodwork. And the fact that I give them their flowers makes them come at me even more, but they're great.
Well, we
They
got
are,
Laser Eyes, we got Hodl, we got Magic Internet Money. What's your favorite? Have fun staying poor.
I mean, all of it. Diamond hands, lettuce hands, all, but
Hmm.
it's not just those are like the simple ones. It's like the things they do with movie clips or videos. I mean, clearly that the generation of people who have Bitcoin are internet wizards and they're
Hmm.
savvy, and they understand more than I do, and they're brilliant at the internet. So
Hmm.
they're great, and I think that actually I think is directly related to the success of Bitcoin, to be honest.
Hmm. Well, obviously today, Bitcoin holiday, the Bitcoin halving. There are other Bitcoin holidays. It would be remiss if we didn't talk to you about Bitcoin Pizza Day coming up in May. I know you're a pizza connoisseur, so I had some questions on that. You know the story, right? Bitcoiner spends $10,000, sorry,
Yep.
10,000 Bitcoin on a pizza. Curious, how good would that pizza have to be for you to spend 10,000 Bitcoin on it?
Yeah, well, what was Bitcoin was worth like nothing when he did it, right? Right now it'd have to be damn good pizza, that's for sure. 10,
Hmm.
I mean, what is that? I don't even can't do the math, but it would have to be
It's
pretty.
600 mil, it's about $600 million.
That pizza probably doesn't exist that I buy for
Okay.
600 million.
No, that's not out there. There's nothing the
No, I
pizza
would
world can
say
do.
no, I would say that's a
Mm.
little too rich for a pizza blood. Yeah.
Are you jealous of the guy who ate the $600 million pizza? That's
No,
a
I don't know what I'd do if I were him. Like
mm,
I don't know if he still has a lot of Bitcoin, but
mm,
that would haunt me.
mm. What is a mythic pizza? And of course, his choice of toppings, jalapenos and pineapple, if I recall correctly. Is that a
Gross.
flavor
No,
that you
that's gross.
endorse?
I mean, I don't judge other people's pizza, but that's gross for me.
All right, flipping the page, talking a little bit about Sam Bankman-Fried. I know someone who brings back memories, of course, among other things, sentenced to prison recently for losing your Bitcoin, among other things. Question, do you think the sentence of Sam Bankman-Fried was fair in your view?
What was the exact sentence that he got?
25 years in prison, and he must serve at least 20 before parole.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he's obviously a criminal. He was careless with other people's money, a fraud. 20 to 25 years is a lot. So I'd say that's fair.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm. Is there a way he could repay you for losing that Bitcoin if he were to come up to you and meet
No,
you?
so I talked to him. The FTX advertised with Barstool.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember before they would spend, he wanted to talk to me about like he had questions about like our character and honesty and integrity and things like that. And then
He
this
had
guy's
questions
the
about your
yeah,
integrity.
yeah. Like before he
Okay,
would like
interesting.
green light the ad spend.
Uh, uh,
Meanwhile, this guy's a crook.
so he's
So
borrowing billions, giving it to politicians, and he's asking you. He's saying, "Dave, I want to see your books." That's
yes,
uh,
yes, which is just so perfect for him. And
mhm,
to be honest, is generally the people who are holier than thou with
mhm.
the biggest skeletons in their closet. So no, there's nothing. If he offered to pay me back, I wouldn't accept it. Like I don't want his money. I like to see him rot, but 20 to 25 years I think is fair.
Did you ever meet him in person? Did you have any
No,
interaction?
never met him.
Okay.
It was just I did like a call like we're doing now for about 20
Hmm.
minutes.
Okay. Well, obviously, I know you've probably done your diligence since then. I know you're now on the exchange. You're using Kraken. They're powering this live stream. Wondering if you would speak a little bit about, you must have done, your research on that. How has your experience been since moving to that? What gives you the confidence now to have your
Yeah,
Bitcoin
well,
there?
they obviously Kraken. You didn't. They survived all hit the FTX crap that went down. They've one of the longest exchanges. So you could do. And again, I don't. As I said earlier, I am still not somebody. I would lose my wallet if I did the direct wallet. So Kraken's
Mm,
easy, quick to use, and I feel safe with it, which is a lot. So that's where my 10 bitcoins. I gotta get. Like I said, I'm gonna end up doing a lot more Bitcoin, and I feel
mm.
comfortable using Kraken.
Now, when you say doing a lot more Bitcoin, is this something where you plan to buy, spend, invest? What does it look like?
Just
What does it look
buy.
like for you? Just
Just
buy.
buy like
Okay.
what you said with buy. So I own all of Barstool again. So I
Uh,
would put Bitcoin on the ledger.
okay.
Maybe if I was going to buy it, it would probably maybe sell it, make some money, extra money, which I
Mm,
think is a
mm,
good place to do for Bitcoin. I also want to hold some forever. So I guess I have my
mm,
personal and the business side. But again, I got to wait for a dip.
mm.
Don't even say it, but I am going to wait for a dip.
So, say a young person came up to you, they're starting their investment journey, they've watched Davey Day Trader. What would you say to them about Bitcoin? You really see it as something that
Yeah,
is
I think you
comparable
have.
to stocks?
Yeah, you have to have it in your portfolio.
Mm,
That's how I'd look at it. Now, does Michael Saylor, does he have anything but Bitcoin in? I don't know. It doesn't seem like he does. Maybe he does. I wouldn't necessarily advise that. And
mm,
also, just like any investment, what's your time frame? Like, do you have years? Are you pressed for the money? Or are you good? Because
mm,
I'm just being a stubborn like donkey in the fact
mm,
that I won't buy it at 63 or 64. I need
mm,
to see a 4 in front of it before I buy again. No, maybe I get shut out. I only have 10 Bitcoins the rest of
mm,
my life. But if you have time and you're young, the difference
mm,
between 60 and 40, that doesn't really matter. I would say buy it and hold it just like you would hold,
mm.
like Fang stocks or something like that. It's something that should be in your portfolio.
Mm. Obviously, fourth halving today, it's a milestone. There'll be many more halvings. In your view, let's say Bitcoin does become the world currency, becomes the world asset. I know you don't think that's likely, but stay with me. What do you think the world looks like at that time?
The Jetsons.
Flying cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meet George Jetson.
Mm,
Like, if you're telling me Bitcoin is the world currency,
mm,
yeah, we're in the Jetsons era.
mm. All right. Well, we want to get you to do some predictions at the end. So we're going to do a little bit of a lightning round here. So I'm going to read a series of things. So the prompt here is what will happen first? $100,000 Bitcoin or this? So
Okay,
I'm going to ask you the question and you're going to
I
tell me
like
whether
this.
this will happen or Bitcoin will hit 100K first. All right, stay with
Okay,
me.
got it.
First one, the New England Patriots win another Super Bowl. What will happen first? 100K Bitcoin or Patriots win another Super Bowl? The dynasty continues.
What a question. Fuck. You say 100K right now.
Okay, more confident in 100K than
Yeah,
the
we don't
post
have a
Belichick.
quarterback. I mean,
Okay,
yeah, we don't
right.
have a quarterback.
Mac Jones.
Gone. He's not on the team.
Okay, right. Okay, I got to get up on my news. All right, what
Yeah.
will happen? What will happen first? You give another 10.0 Bitcoin pizza review, or $100,000 Bitcoin?
Probably a 10.0 pizza Bitcoin review.
But you've only done one in history, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only been one ever, but I could see another one happening before that.
You must have a really good pizza place lined up. I guess we'll have to talk about that after. All right. What will happen first? World War III starts or $100,000 Bitcoin?
Damn, another tough one.
That's because, I mean, there's stuff going on right now.
I
There's
know,
stuff
I know.
happening.
I'm going to
It's
try to be an
happening.
optimist and say 100,000 Bitcoin. I certainly
Okay.
hope that's right.
Okay. That's magnanimous. All right. What will happen first? $100,000 Bitcoin or Kim and Kanye get back together?
100,000 Bitcoin.
So you think no chance?
No
Kanye's out.
chance. No
He's out.
chance.
Oh,
Yeah.
brutal, brutal. What will happen first? $100,000 Bitcoin or you sell Barstool Sports again?
100,000 Bitcoin.
What will happen first? $100,000 Bitcoin? You wear a LeBron James jersey.
100,000 Bitcoin.
What will happen first? $100,000 Bitcoin or you receive an honorary degree from Harvard?
100,000 Bitcoin.
What will happen first? $100,000 Bitcoin or Taylor Swift breaks up with Travis Kelce and starts dating you?
100,000 Bitcoin.
What will happen first? $100,000 Bitcoin or we see Donald Trump elected president again?
Trump president.
What will happen first? $100,000 Bitcoin or you're invited to Elon Musk's Mars colony and you take the wrong end?
Probably $100,000 Bitcoin.
So are you more confident in the $100,000
Yeah, there's a
Bitcoin
lot of
after this?
$100,000 Bitcoins in that.
You
And
were
let me
making a lot of.
clarify, I don't want to date Taylor Swift even if she was single. I just respect her as an artist.
Taylor Swift, would you date Taylor Swift or would you take $100,000 in Bitcoin?
I'd take 100,000 Bitcoin. That's what I have no interest in dating Taylor.
Okay, well, I'm glad we clarified
I
that
had
on
to
record.
clarify that. Yeah.
Dave, thanks for being here. Obviously, we're wrapping up on time. Coming back to our halving pre-show, want to get your final thoughts on where you see Bitcoin headed this next year. Anything you'd like to leave us with in terms of your market's wisdom and insight?
So we've been bouncing around in the 60 to 70 now for a couple months. I'll say this. Everything I generally think's about to happen with Bitcoin is wrong. Like I am, what do they say? The market is in, the top is in. When I get in, that may be time to sell.
So you're the counter indicator. We should be
like
counter trading.
every time I get in, it
Right.
goes down, and when I get out, it goes up. So I mean, I haven't rebought. I don't know when I'm going to, but when I do, pretty much guarantee the opposite's about to happen.
Is your appearance on this live stream then a bear indicator in your own view?
Well, no, because I'm not buying yet. So there's probably still a lot of room to run. Like I said, I'm going to wait till a 4 is in front of it. So it's probably going to go to 100 before it goes to 40.
A lot of comments there. Dave, thanks for coming in. Stop by the live stream. Obviously, we'll be back with more in a bit. Pete Rizzo hosting here at the Bitcoin Magazine, having a live stream powered by Kraken.